Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. The October 25th episode of SmackDown was noteworthy for several reasons, but nothing was bigger than Roman Reigns staring from the entrance ramp as the Usos reunited in the middle of the ring. Was it remorse on the face of Reigns? Former WWE analyst Matt Kemp says Roman Reigns needs to acknowledge Jey Uso. Kemp believes the former Intercontinental Champion has grown in the past year and has no business playing second fiddle to the OTC. Discussing the turn of events on SmackDown with WWE Hall of Famer Mark Henry on the Busted Open podcast, Kemp noted that this is the only way main event Jey can truly join forces with Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso to take on Solo Sikoa's bloodline. If you're going to get Jey back in the fold, Roman has to look at him, Roman has to acknowledge him. He has to look at Jey as an equal. Whether he is or not in the eyes of fans, we will see. Obviously, Reigns has more accomplishments. But I don't want Jey coming back as a second fiddle. He's beyond that now, Kemp said. From 2017 to 2040, since moving on from the bloodline last year, Jey Uso held the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship with Cody Rhodes and won his first singles title recently, the Intercontinental Championship. More importantly, he is incredibly over among fans at this moment. Roman Reigns will reportedly get a helping hand from his former rivals in WWE. Things are heating up as Crown Jewel emanates from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, in a week's time. Meanwhile, the addition of Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes to the OTC's team has been reported. According to Sportskeeda Wrestling's Dr. Chris Featherstone, both stars will join Roman Reigns at Survivor Series to take on Solo Sikoa's bloodline. Zayn is expected to be on Raw this week to begin the build-up for the Thanksgiving event. But that is not all. WWE is booking the OG Bloodline against the new Bloodline at Crown Jewel in a tag team contest. This unexpected move was officially announced on the go-home edition of SmackDown before Crown Jewel. The episode will be telecast next Friday, as the company pre-taped the show after this week's edition of the Blue Brand. The details of the bout are not clear at present, as Sikoa's team consists of 4 members including himself, while Jey Uso is seemingly finally on the same page as the OTC and Big Jim, making it 3 people. Meanwhile, WWE Hall of Famer Mark Henry noted on the same podcast that upon The Rock's return, it is possible that the final boss eliminates Solo Sikoa from the bloodline. The lights dimmed, and an anticipatory hum vibrated through the WWE arena as Roman Reigns, the reigning tribal chief, made his entrance on SmackDown. He was accompanied by Paul Heyman, his unwavering special counsel, and Solo Sikoa, his formidable enforcer. His slow, determined pace reflected the confidence of a champion who had crushed every opponent put before him. Roman believed there was no one he had to acknowledge, for he was the head of the table. But tonight was different. A storm had been brewing backstage, and recent events had shifted the power dynamics in WWE. Fans, analysts, and even Roman's closest allies sensed that change was in the air. On a special episode of WWE Backstage, one former WWE analyst had made a bold prediction that echoed throughout the wrestling community. It's time for Roman Reigns to acknowledge a new top star in the company. The analyst, Corey Graves, had declared it with absolute conviction, sparking debates and fueling fan theories. I'm telling you right now, Roman might be the tribal chief, but there's one star on the roster who has been dominating like never before. It's not just a match, it's a message. The time has come, whether he wants to or not, for Roman Reigns to acknowledge him. But who could it be? Seth Rollins, Roman's former Shield brother and current WWE World Heavyweight Champion? Drew McIntyre, the Relentless Warrior? Or could it be LA Knight, the man who had skyrocketed in popularity and proved his worth as a serious contender? Tonight, Roman had invited this challenger into the ring to prove his loyalty. Roman would confront this individual and, in his own words, make them realize their place beneath him. It was supposed to be a dismissal, a show of dominance. But as soon as LA Knight's music hit, the arena exploded with deafening cheers. LA Knight strode down the ramp with a swagger that rivaled Roman's, and the tension was palpable. Standing in the ring, Roman watched him closely, his face betraying hints of curiosity and annoyance. Knight, meanwhile, looked unfazed, a grin plastered on his face as he soaked in the crowd's chants. "You know," Roman began, his voice dripping with disdain, "the WWE Universe seems to think you're the next big thing. But let's get one thing clear, I don't acknowledge anyone. I am the head of the table. This," he gestured around the arena, "all of this belongs to me." LA Knight chuckled, nodding along mockingly. "You're right, Roman. This is your table. But I'm not here to sit at it," he declared, his voice firm and challenging. "I'm here to flip it over." The crowd roared in approval, and Roman's expression darkened. It wasn't often that someone dared to talk back to the tribal chief. Paul Heyman whispered something into Roman's ear, but Roman waved him off, eyes locked on LA Knight. Roman smirked. "You think you've earned the right to stand toe-to-toe with me? I'm WWE's tribal chief. You're just another guy who got a few cheers. That doesn't mean you're worthy of my acknowledgement." Knight raised an eyebrow, stepping closer to Roman until they were mere inches apart. "You might be the tribal chief, but I've got something you'll never have, Roman, the people's loyalty. They chose me, and that's something you can't control." The word struck a nerve. Roman prided himself on his dominance and control. The idea that the WWE Universe could be slipping through his fingers, aligning with this brash upstart, was something he hadn't foreseen. But Roman was never one to back down. "You think you can handle what it takes to be at the top?" Roman asked, his voice low and menacing. "This isn't some popularity contest. Being the tribal chief requires sacrifices. You don't have the discipline, the strength, or the legacy to even be considered worthy." LA Knight grinned, his confidence unwavering. "Oh, I've got the strength, Roman. And as for legacy, let's create a new one. I don't want your title handed to me, I'll take it, whether you acknowledge me or not." At this point, the crowd was in a frenzy, divided between chants for LA Knight and roars for Roman. It was clear that a clash between the two was inevitable, and both men knew it. But Corey Graves' words continued to ring in Roman's mind. This was no ordinary opponent. LA Knight had done what few others had, he had Roman Reigns' attention. The tribal chief leaned in, his face mere inches from LA Knight's. "I'll give you one chance," he growled. "Walk away now, and maybe I'll consider sparing you from the embarrassment of stepping into my ring again." Knight didn't flinch. Instead, he raised his mic, his voice a fierce challenge. "I'll walk away, Roman, but only after I've taken everything you've built. Next time we meet, you'll be the one acknowledging me." The crowd erupted, and Roman, visibly irate, stepped back, raising his hands as if to dismiss Knight. But before he could exit the ring, LA Knight called out one last taunt. "Hey, Roman." "Yeah." The fans echoed the trademark catchphrase, their voices shaking the arena. As the show went off air, it was clear to everyone watching, Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, had just met his match. The WWE Universe had chosen their next star, and for the first time in a long time, Roman Reigns was feeling the weight of the challenge before him. He could ignore it all he wanted, but deep down, Roman knew Corey Graves was right. It was time to acknowledge the rise of LA Knight.